And we're back. So, I find it interesting that it's called heartburn. I think that's what I have. In Swedish we call it throat burn. But it all takes place in the stomach, doesn't it? Alright, so we are reading some Stallman. Stalling long enough. Time to read indeed. Make it a little bit bigger, I suppose. Alright. From Stallman's personal site. For current political commentary, see the daily political notes. Oh, he has daily political notes? That's... Oh, wow. Why do so many straight men come to resent the women they find attractive? I've noticed that pattern too, but I never understood it. Oh, right. Someone said this, and he says that he's noticed that pattern too. I mean, this is super fucking vague. That's not what we're reading. But that seems like silly, right? So many. I mean, there are billions of men out of there, and some of them. So everything is relative, right? So, relatively speaking, I suppose many men do, but I think that is quite the minority. Alright, how I do my computing, however. My computer. I use a ThinkPad T400S computer. I don't know what that is. It's a laptop, right? Which has a free initialization program, LibreBoot, and free operating system. Try SQL with GNU Linux. It was not sold that way by Lenovo, however. Small businesses buy them used, recondition them, and install the free software. Okay, this is one of the computers endorsed by the FSF. Alright, wait, what did he say? This one is one of the computers endorsed by the Free Software Foundation. Before using such ThinkPads, I'm guessing that these ThinkPads are cheap-ass laptops, right? Low-spec stuff? I'm assuming. I used the Lemote Yilong for several years. At the time, it was the only laptop one could buy that could run free initialization programs and a free operating system. But it was never sold with a free operating system. Alright. Before that, I used an OLPC for some weeks. The OLPC used a non-free firmware blob for the Wi-Fi, so I could not use the internal Wi-Fi device. No big problem. I used an external Wi-Fi adapter. I stopped using it because the OLPC project decided to make their machine support Windows. Oh wow, such an extremist. Oof. Because the OLPC project decided to make their machine support Windows, so I did not want to appear to endorse it by visibly carrying it around. Oh man, Stallman. I could have continued using it privately with its free software installation, but I had no need for another computer to use only privately. The result that seemed likely. The results that seemed likely, millions of children running Windows on the OLPC, have not occurred. Instead, we see millions of children running Windows on the Intel Classmate, or nowadays Chromebook, that sends the child's personal data to Google. A lot of rhetoric here, eh? What's the date on this? When did he write this? Oh man, I would want a... There's no... Yeah, there's no date on this. So, he could have written this yesterday, right? Probably maintaining this, I suppose. Let's see. Let's send this, the child's personal data to Google. I mean... He's not wrong. He's not wrong. That is what happens. Before that, I used machines that ran completely free GNU and Linux systems, but I had non-free BIOSes. BIOSes? BIOSes. I don't know. BIOSes? I tried for about 8 years to find a way to avoid a non-free BIOS in some commercial machine. GNU Linux distro. I do not have a preferred GNU Linux distro. I recommend all the ethical distros, namely those that are 100% free software. I've chosen not to have any preference among those ethical distros. In fact, I am not in a position to judge them on other criteria. Even to try them all would be a lot of work. Of that I have no need to do. Right. A lot of work of that I have no need. Alright, he doesn't care. Like any of them is probably fine. That makes sense to me. What I do on my computer. Mostly I use a text console. For convenience sake, most of my work is editing text, and that is more efficient on a text console. On the text console, the touchpad can't cause me any trouble if I touch it by accident. I do use X11 for tasks that need graphical interface. I have no preferred graphical environment or window manager. Since my interest in using graphical environments is small, I don't want to spend time comparing them. This is not an ethical issue, just my own personal preference. On the ethical level, I think it is important for free software to provide convenient free graphical user interface software. Which is why the GNU project launched 3 projects to develop that. The third, GNOME, was successful, so we never needed a 4th one. Song called Woodpecker. It was a little bit of an annoying, was it? Alright. I spend most of my time editing in Emacs. I read and send mail with Emacs using MXRmail and CXM. I have no experience with any other email client programs. In principle, I would be glad to know about other free email clients, but learning about them is not a priority for me and I don't have the time. I edit the pages on this site with Emacs also, although volunteer helpers install the political notes and urgent notes. I have no experience with other ways of maintaining websites. In principle, I would be glad to know about other ways, but learning about them is a low priority for me and I have other things to do. Oops. How this site is maintained. This site is maintained in a very simple way. I edit the pages, such as this one, manually as HTML. I only know simple HTML. Others who know more wrote the parts at the top and the bottom of the pages, and the more complex formatting on the home page. Volunteer helpers install the political notes. Wait, didn't he just write this? Every day after receiving the text from me by email. A cron job rolls over the political notes page every 2 months. The photo galleries are generated with this Perl script. The search feature on the site is done with this code. An explanation of the concept of designing a user experience. An explanation of the concept of designing a user experience, which also shows why I find it loathsome. This is why I want Stallman.org to remain simple. Not a user experience, but rather a place where I present certain information, views and actions, and action opportunities to you. Oh, that is interesting. I want to read that. Rich user. Oh, fuck, it's even longer. It's even longer. Maybe. Maybe not. Would you like to help do this? Write to rms@thesite.gnu.org. How I use the internet. I have used the internet since it first existed. I never used UUCP, though occasionally I sent emails to addresses that involved transmission via UUCP. I am careful in how I connect to the internet. Specifically, I refuse to connect through portals that would require me to identify myself, or to run any non-trivial, non-free JavaScript code. I use Libre.js to prevent non-free JavaScript code from running. I don't mind giving an identity that isn't really me in order to connect if that works. I often connect in a person's home. The person, of course, knows who I am, but that doesn't bother me. What I would object to is putting my identity in a database that can be searched. I prevent that by changing my MAC address at each location. I am careful in how I use the internet. I generally do not connect to websites from my own machine, aside from a few sites I have some special relationship with. I usually fetch web pages from other sites by sending mail to a program. See this? A Git, like a Womb hack, that fetches them, much like wget, and then mails them back to me. Then I look at them using a web browser, unless it is easy to see the text in the HTML page directly. I usually try links first. Actually, I've been using links a lot lately. I like links. Then a graphical browser if the page needs it. Using Conqueror, which won't fetch from other sites in such a situation. Blasphemous asks, are you getting inspired? Not inspired yet. No. Maybe a little bit. No, I mean... No, not inspired yet. Maybe to try this Conqueror, I don't know, which won't fetch from other sites in such a situation. I mean, this sounds like fun. This sounds fun. A fun way to browse the internet. Send a mail to a script I have running on another site. I mean, it's crazy. Oh man. Blasphemous says, yes, that is the best part. But I mean, I've been using links on my other computer, and I enjoy that. And I mean, I'm happy that Stallman exists, and in that he does these things and advocates for these things. Usually, I'm not an extremist myself. I don't see him hurting anyone by this extremism. So, like, oftentimes I am... Like, I'm careful about extremism, but so far he doesn't seem to hurt anyone by his extremism, right? So, since he's not hurting anyone, I don't see any issue with it. And I mean, I could get a little bit inspired, perhaps. I mean, I've been meaning to start using Tor more. But then I just don't, because path of least resistance for me, Blasphemous asks, remember when they twisted his words and tried to cancel him? I mean, I've seen some meme videos of him and pictures of him, and I can understand why some people would want to cancel him, because he's kind of a weird dude, you know. He sticks out, and people love canceling people who sticks out, but I don't know which word they twisted, no. Alright. I occasionally also browse unrelated sites. What are unrelated sites? Using IceCat via Tor. Except for rare cases. I do not identify myself to them. I think that is enough to prevent my browsing from being connected with me. IceCat blocks tracking tags and most fingerprinting methods. I never pay for anything on the web because I cannot pay anonymously. Wait, can't you though? Isn't Monero anonymous? Can't you do that anonymously? Anything on the net that would require payment that would identify me, I don't do. I made an exception for the fees for the Stallman.org domain, since that is connected with me anyway. Right. It is kind of connected. It has his name in the thing, right? I avoid paying with credit cards generally. For freedom's sake, I insist on paying cash. Is cash freedom though? I mean, this I can't stand behind, no. I mean, cash as it works right now, I would not put that in the same word, but I get the point. I mean, isn't this rather for the sake of being anonymous? That's what he's been talking about, right? Being anonymous, not about freedom. This word is thrown around a little bit too easily. Cash is not free. Well, I'm guessing that cryptocurrencies would be considered more free than normal cash. Colgatino says, with credit card you don't know whether the bank you use actually has that money. Oh, I don't use credit cards. I use debit cards. But it's not a huge difference. Credit cards are worse, but I only use debit cards. But yeah, right. But yeah, exactly. Colgatino taps that said with debit card too. Usually, right? Usually they don't. Usually it's just a house of cards, right? Just a balloon running on nothing. Blasphemous says, it's all the same. I'd rather have something I can physically hold. That's actually interesting. I mean, I don't know, gold? Fuck, I don't know. Something that one could physically hold and stay anonymous with, I see as a benefit. But I really like the convenience of abstracting it and making it to digital numbers. I want to be able to do both. I see benefits of both. Maybe crypto is the future. That is both, right? You can have it on a USB stick if you like. And it is digital. Let's see. Colgate Unitaps says there is some regulation that they must have some portion of their virtual money. I don't remember how it is in EU, but around 10%. Right. But right, that they don't have to have the physical, they just have to own the virtual money. So it's still... But I'm guessing anonymous... like having anonymous money gives you freedom. So I'm guessing I could buy this. For freedom's sake. I mean, it's better than nothing, I suppose, would be a way to look at it. And Blasphemous, what did they try to cancel him for? When they twisted his words? If it's summarizable fairly quickly. Colgate Unitaps says they have to have the physical. Oh, virtual money is debt, not money. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, the physical money is debt as well, right? All the money is debt. The debt is grander than the total amount of money that exists. The total amount of debt that exists always exceeds the total amount of money that exists. That is how they generate value nowadays. I mean, the math doesn't check out, but every $100 that exists, there exists a $110 debt. The math is not correct, but that is how it works, right? That is how you generate value and generate motivation to work. That's the whole plan, right? Because when you're in debt, you are motivated to repay that debt, right? If you borrow me some money, then I have an incentive to pay you back. And that is how the system drives itself. It kind of assumes that people don't want to do worthwhile stuff. That there has to be a motivation. I don't like that about the money system. Because that is not about freedom. That is putting people in debt. Well, not even putting people in debt. Putting groups of people in debt. Alright, Blasphemous gives us a quote here. The quote being, free software pioneer Richard Stallman has resigned from his post at MIT and the Free Software Foundation after leaked emails showed him quibbling over the definition of rape in a conversation related to Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, I could see myself quibbling over the definition of anything. I don't see how that would necessitate. I mean, I'm guessing if they twisted his words, it's probably sounded kinda rapey then. Whatever his definition was. Well, whatever they took from it, I suppose. Colgate Unitaps says, physical money is the government's debt to the owner of that money. Virtual money is the bank's debt. Wait, physical money is the government's debt to the owner of that money. All right, yes. Virtual money is the bank's debt. Oh, I thought virtual money was just money that existed in computers. I mean, they don't print all the money anymore, right? They just create them. I mean, they create them out of thin air, like in the loan, but it doesn't have to be physical, I don't think. I mean, it can't be physical, since if you create $100 and you create a debt of 110, then those 10 extra 10, they can't be physical, right? They have to exist in the computer, in a database. It doesn't have to be a computer, I suppose. I mean, argue definitions. One could point out that's pretty much what we spend most of our time doing here, just arguing definitions out of things. When a business pressure you to pay in an identified way, your chance to defend your freedom by saying, "If you won't take my cash, no sale." Right? I didn't get that part. Let's see. If you call virtual money money, then yes, most of created money is virtual. But it is created by private banks rather than governments. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it's a cooperation, right? They create it together. Blasphemous says, what is more likely to happen to you nowadays in a first world country? First world? Someone robbing you for cash, or someone stealing your credit card online, or various hacks? I have no idea. Probably not robbing me for cash. If you get robbed, you get robbed for your phone, right? They don't steal your cash. Nobody carries around cash anymore. Someone robbing you is about stealing valuable items, such as your phone. But I'm guessing that hacks. I'm assuming, like where I live, I'm not likely to get robbed at all. So I'm assuming that being hacked is way more probable. Blasphemous says, most people probably don't even carry cash. Yeah, exactly. So those of us who do carry cash are now safer. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, what's more likely? Some big ass corporation stealing your life away from you? I don't know. Colgate Unitap says that the bank creates virtual money by giving out loans, and that money is destroyed when a loan is paid back. Wait, no. They're not allowed to do that willy-nilly. I mean, they are doing that, yes. But it's all based on like what's it called? Like a federal bank. They need to borrow their fake money from... Oh, right. That's what you were saying, right? They borrow the 10% or whatever that number is. They borrow, like, say, $100 from the government-run bank, right? And then from that 100, they can themselves loan out 1,000. Right? Yes. And the money, I mean, the money is not destroyed. When they get if they get 100 back, they just try to loan it out all over again. Blasphemous says, I'm more afraid of sticking my card into the wrong machine and getting my card skimmed. Oh, I have a structure for that. I only have on the card, I only have like I don't have a credit card, right? I only have a debit card, and on that card I only have the amount of money that I need for that specific thing. The rest of the money is on another account that is not connected to any card. Lasma says, never been robbed for cash, me neither. Had charges on my debit card that I didn't make twice. Ooh, says Blasphemous. I think I've never had that either. I think I may have been pickpocketed once or twice. Maybe. Might have been just me losing stuff as well. Just dropping it on the street and just moving on. Could be either way. Maybe pickpocketed though. Because it was in crowded cities. Alright. I would not mind paying for a copy of an ebook or a music recording on the internet if I could do so anonymously. And it treated me justly in other ways. No DRM or EULA. But that option almost never exists. I keep looking for ways to make it exist. Nice. For searching, I've mostly used DuckDuckGo for the past few years. It does work with JavaScript disabled, but you have to follow a link before you search. I also sometimes use xquick.com. My usual precautions should stop them from knowing it is me. I no longer use Google search, not even occasionally, because it sends me a broken CAPTCHA. I suspect the reason it tries to send me a CAPTCHA is that I'm coming through Tor. I would answer the CAPTCHA if it worked, but it does not. I suspect the reason the CAPTCHA is broken is that it depends on non-free JavaScript. I won't run that in my computer. I am not willing to let Google see where I am, so I won't bypass Tor. Therefore, I cannot use Google search anymore. Nice. There are ways to use Google search, though. To bypass it, you can run it at another computer, just like the email thing he does, right? Like start page and circs and those. But I don't know. I'm quite happy with DuckDuckGo for the moment. I'm quite happy. I mean, it's like voting with your wallet. I'm not paying anything, right? But DuckDuckGo has... If I search through Google from like a proxy like Circs or Start Page or something, I am using Google and increasing Google's numbers, even though I'm not giving them any data. So I don't know. I am using YouTube though, all the time. Blasphemous says DuckDuckGo without JavaScript provides the worst results. I don't know. Like I've been using links for a while, right? There's no JavaScript there, and I've been happy with most of the results. I don't think I've been unhappy with any of it recently. NodeRunner says, hello, hi, I'm new. Oh, hello NodeRunner, nice to meet you. How are you doing? Have you heard of NewPipe? Wait, NewPipe? I have not heard of it, no. Blasphemous says, for Android, yes. Is it exciting? Let's see, before that, Blasphemous said, I used it for a few months until I gave in and whitelisted. Wait. DuckDuckGo, I mean. You mean Blasphemous? I used it for a few months until I gave in and whitelisted the list. Wait, what list? There are a few search engines that provides bangs to let you search from Google. Search Google from their site. Yeah. It is an Android application for watching YouTube in an ungoogled way. Ooh, nice. I'm watching on YTCC and Pipe Viewer, right? YouTube Viewer. Are those considered to be ungoogled? Oh, whitelisted the site. All right. Node owner says, I always suggest using ungoogled Android. Oh man, I have not done that. I really want to run Linux on my phone. Yeah, I want to run Linux, but it's not possible yet, is it? Colgate Unotap says, money on a debit card is promise of cash. So if you get 100 kroner loan, your debt account gets 100 kroner and you can withdraw that 100 kroner. Then I misunderstand debit card. I'm pretty sure because the card my card is directly connected to my account. So when I pay for something, it removes the money from my account immediately. There is no... Oh wait, promise of cash? Wait. I don't have any loans, right? Well, I do have my student debt. But other than that, I've never loaned any money except for my student debts, which sucks. Your debt account get 100 kroner and you can withdraw that 100 kroner in cash because it's much less than 10% of the bank's loans. At the same time, you have 1,000 kroner in debt for the bank. Yeah. When you pay your loan back, the bank no longer promises 10,000 kroner for you and you no longer have the debt for the bank. So the money is essentially destroyed. Yeah, but they still have the opportunity to reloan it to someone else, right? So it's essentially destroyed, but they can recreate it from that other loan that they made. So it's not like... Sure, they are creating it, but it's based on something. But that something that they are basing their loan on is not based on anything. Like that first creation of those initial kroners to that bank. And the only thing that changed is that you need to get interest from somewhere else. Plasma says AOSP ROMs without GApps. And is that something you can do on your phone then? AOSP? Is that what I'm looking for on my phone? Without GApps? I don't know. Colgate Unotap says, whoops, the sum of the loan changed mid-rant. Yeah, that's fine. What's not possible on Linux? Oh no, it's not possible on the Android phone. Can I put Arch on this? I don't think so. Yeah, the Pine phone, right? But that operating system that the Pine phone runs on, right? I can't put this on here. Maybe I should save up some money and buy a Pine phone. Blasphemous says that Pine phone runs Linux. Yeah, I know. The battery life is trash though. And I know about Librem 5 as well, but Librem 5 is super fucking expensive. And also, I'm pretty sure I'm stuck here because I don't know if yeah, we've talked about that before. We have like a Swedish identification app that I have on my phone, and I do need that app. So that probably don't run on Linux. I don't think. NodeRunner says that the AOSP is the Android open source project. GApps is the Google suite of proprietary applications. So AOSP is what I'm looking for if I want to change my phone. Right, if I want to de-Google my phone. Is this where I'm going? No, it's Sailfish. Oh, I've heard about Sailfish. Let's see. Blasphemous says the Pine phone is only $1,500 to $200. Not a bad deal. Indeed, not a bad deal. I need to look into that when it's time to buy a new phone. I'm probably looking into that. But I need to make sure I'll be able to use that social security identification. I need that. Blasphemous says they make you carry your phone as identification through that app. Well, there is a yeah, pretty much. But they don't make you carry your phone as identification. I mean, I have my driver's license, and that counts as identification. It's for online identification. Like when I'm interacting with the government in different ways. Yeah. Some parts of the government requires you to identify if you want to talk to them through digital means, and I do want to talk to them in digital means. Yeah. Blasphemous search for XDA and whatever model phone you have. Oh fuck. XDA. What do I have? A Samsung, right? Yeah. Samsung 7 something? I don't know. I think this is the one. What's XDA then? I think this is the one. Yeah, that looks like the one. Yeah, it looks like the one indeed. It was released at the Mobile World Congress. What is this? What is XDA? I don't know. Lastman says you should easily be able to find multiple ROMs for that phone. Oh, very nice. ROMs, that's what they're called. Yeah, I'll look into that in the future. Maybe, maybe not. I'm a little bit lazy, right? No, I'm efficient. Path of least resistance. All right, but we're all only halfway through here. All right, social media. I don't need to be inspired. I have YouTube, I have Twitch, and the rest I am not interested in. All right, I do not use any social networking sites because of the way it is inconvenient for me. That doesn't mean I think they're all unethical. Some are not. Social networking sites raise their own set of ethical issues, completely different from ethical issues of distributing software, free versus proprietary. And there are big differences between them. I agree with that. I would want, maybe not even, like, yeah, I would really want a social media app, that like a political media app. Where, yeah, like in a step in the direction towards direct democracy, because that would be in a step in the direction of decentralizing power, moving away from the parliament. I mean, I'm not saying remove the parliament altogether, it's just try to move the decision making more into the, like, decentralize the power more towards the people. That is one social media like I would really want to use, but it hasn't been made yet. Blasphemous asks, do you have an app called Termux on your phone? I think so. Well, I think I removed it. Because I never used it. Yeah, I did have it. But yeah, never used it. That's for SSHing, right? That's, as far as I understood, people who do a lot of SSHing put that on their phone to SSH. Plasma says that would be fun to have a phone where you did everything via terminal. Yeah, right? Well, fucking annoying to type on a phone, but a little bit fun, yeah. It's for IRC, says Colgate on tap. No, it's a Linux environment on your phone. There are other IRC apps on your phone, I know that. But check them out. One of them. Some of them. I have a Twitter account called RMS Posts Comment, which I use to log in on other sites to post comments on articles. I never post on Twitter. Someone made an account of Stallman feed, which I'm told posts something about my political notes. Any other Twitter account that claims to be mine is an imposter. The RMS account on gnusocial.no repeats the political notes from this site, but I do not post on it directly. That site runs GNU Social. I don't even know what GNU Social is. Actually, I'm not that interested in social media in itself, by just being social. Except for Twitch, of course, if that's considered social media. Nodeowner says, Termux, it is actually a full Linux distro that you root into. Yeah, right, yeah. You can do lots of Linux stuff in it, right? Lasma says they have WeChat for Android too. Oh, nice. Colgate Unotap says, I only use it for IRC and reading text files. Oh man. I only use my phone as a mobile internet browser. And yeah, and the online identification app. Sometimes I connect with my family, but that I do that through what's it called? Signal. Oh right, and once every blue moon, someone calls me on it unexpectedly. Then I introduce myself, and then I tell them, "Oh, you probably have this wrong number." "Oh, you're right. I have the wrong number. I'm sorry." That's fine. Colgitino Tab says, can't you identify with PC? I can. I think I can. That's what I want to look up. Because if I can do that on Linux, then probably it is possible to do some weird shit like Sailfish or some other ROM on the phone, or maybe even switching over to PinePhone. Nice. Blasphemous says, I don't identify with being politically correct. After Colgitino Tab says, can't you identify with PC? That was funny. I thought it was funny anyway. I mean, there is no it's no such thing, right? It's derived from there is no right or wrong morals or ethics, and derived from that makes it so that all political statements are opinions. So, I mean, if we say that I am politically correct, then my political statements usually are correct in the sense that they they represent my opinion. Not always, oftentimes they don't, but sometimes my political statements are correct in that they represent my views, sometimes not. Does that make sense? Arguing semantics? Not everyone has a smartphone after all. There has to be other ways. Yeah. I know there's a Windows app. I don't know if there's a Linux thing. I have not looked into it. I mean, I could probably run it through Wine on the PinePhone, right? PinePhone should be able to run Wine applications. Simple ones. Do they make the homeless identify in the same way? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Homeless tend to lose things. And they also have... I don't know how common homelessness is in Sweden. But if they interact with... right, we have like a... If you're fucked, right, and you don't have any money or any income and just debt all over the place, the government will help you out, find a place for you to live, pay for that and some other necessities. And one thing that is considered a necessity is being able to communicate with the government. So I'm pretty sure, I have not read up on this, but as far as I understand it, they will make sure that you have access to internet and an application. It could be that they take you to a place where they have computers, because I know there are public computers where you could get that app and somehow make that work. Something like that. But most commonly, like, I have friends that get that deal from the government and they have smartphones. They won't take your smartphone away. They might take your TV away, but they won't take your smartphone away. I'm pretty sure that is how it works. Notrunner says that PinePhone can't run Wine application, at least not directly. Oh, remember, this is an ARM-based platform, not a x86. Oh. That's very interesting. Let's see. Colgate Innotab says, doesn't your government has any support to people who can answer these questions? Which questions? I don't understand your question, Colgate Innotab. Blasphemous says, our government in America gives away free phones with Chinese spyware on them. I mean, our government gives us money so we can buy phones with American spyware on them. I don't... Let's see... Forbes.com cites Thomas Brewster. US funds free Android phone for the poor, but with permanent Chinese malware. Oof. Oof. Colgate Innotab says, like, can you identify with Linux? I don't know. I haven't checked that out. I'm actually interested. I'm probably gonna check that out when... after lunch, maybe after my nap. Maybe. I am interested. Though. Notrunner says, I have one of those government phones and I can tell you all about them. These? That's weird. Why is nothing happening? Hello? That's what I meant. Doesn't your government have nerds who answer those questions? Oh, of course. I mean, of course, there is. I mean, if it works, the information is out there. I have never looked for that information specifically, though. Oh, man. No, I don't want a functional cookies. Wow. Wow. I mean, wow. What is this? So, I don't like this. I don't like this. This feels invasive. It feels invasive. Should have opened it in links, says Blasphemous. Yeah, should have opened it in links. Actually, maybe I don't even know if I have links here. Or... No, I don't have it installed yet. Alright, but that's... I wonder if it will even open. And just never, nothing. Oh, it does open. Oh, interesting. Ooh, I need a new terminal emulator. Xterm is not doing it for me anymore. Nolan says, "Wow, fuck you, Forbes. Making this shit as exactly right. Making this shit as complicated as possible. That is so fucking rude." Right, I'm guessing this is too small to read for someone else. But what's the point, right? Ah, right. You've been getting them and there's malware on them. I can see that happening. I'm not surprised at all. Alright, now I have links. Maybe I should have opened this in links. Tab says, quite surprising in that American government prefer Chinese spyware over American one. First, the Chinese malware a distraction from their own spyware. I mean, their own spyware is way more in your face. I mean, yeah. Blasphemous says, I use RxVT Unicode. I'd switch to Kitty, but I don't like the way it renders my font. Yeah, I'm trying out Kitty on my on the other computer. I had Alacrity before, because Alacrity worked very well with Sway. But I went back to i3. I really liked Sway, but I wanted to run Steam, and I don't know how to get Steam up and running in Wayland, and I was not in the mood. I was not in the mood. But I think I'm thinking of Kitty just because I like the name. I like the name Kitty. I don't like the name RxVT Unicode. That's difficult to say. Well, Kitty is great marketing. Oh man, I'm falling for marketing tricks. Nodon says, I heard these phones only cost $5 each. I'm not sure how that's possible. I mean, they're shitty phones, but they're still somewhat capable. I mean, they're so trash that nobody wants them. Right? Supply and demand. There's no demand for them. And it has permanent Chinese malware. I mean, that makes the... Especially in America, that has gotta make the price like plummet like crazy. And that would also make sense why the government would... Oh, right. For the poor, we take the cheapest phone possible. That checks out, doesn't it? I think it checks out. Alright. Aside from those two, any account on social networking site that says it's mine is an imposter. Right. I do not post on 4chan. I have nothing against it in principle, but I'm told a lot of the posts nowadays are right-wing bigotry, which I condemn totally. Why do you have to put these together? I mean, sure, condemn bigotry, but why do... I don't like condemning right-wing. Even though, I mean, that's just politics, right? Bigotry I can condemn, I think. Not always, but most of the time. No, maybe. Some of the time I can condemn bigotry. I don't like it. There we go. Condemn, it seems harsh. I wouldn't do that. Probably. I have occasionally answered questions for interviews for 4chan, but I've never posted anything there. Any posting there and that it says that it is done by me is made by an imposter. Alright, let's see. Notrunner says that's not quite how it works. Oh, maybe not. In America, they are usually the same, says Blasphemous. Wait, what are the same? Bigotry and right-winging? Swinging? And I'm guessing I made a mistake on my supply and demand thing about the phones. I mean, I guess you could use them for many things. I don't know. I'm not an economist like that. Colgate Inotap asks, what is bigotry? Bigotry is... it's hard to define like this. Like racism. When you treat people differently just because of their insert X. Like gender, skin color, sexuality, age. I think they say ageism is a thing, right? What else do we have? We have... Fuck, I know I'm missing one of the big ones. Ethnicity. There we go. Religion. Political views. No, I don't think political views. Something like that. Right? Like, the typical example is the grandma. Someone gave an example the other day of a grandfather saying that all the immigrants are stealing their jobs. Something like that. That's typical bigotry, right? Northern asks, left-wing bigotry is okay then. Exactly, right? Is that... I mean, a lot of bigotry comes from ignorance. Most of bigotry comes from ignorance. So I would be hesitant to condemn it either way. I would be super hesitant to condemn someone's political views. Some I would condemn, like some politics are just silly, and I would probably condemn it. But I would try not to. Trying to take a deep breath and, alright, this is the way you think. That's okay. I would prefer, that is the man that I would want to be anyway. Blasphemous says left-wing disguises their racism as trying to make other races act just like them. I mean, it's different, right? Usually what happens is the right-wing extremists, the ethnicists, if you want to call them that, they always look at the enemy as someone who is different, right? And when the right-wingers do it, it's usually easier to recognize, right? Because they point, oh, this person looks different, therefore this person is different, therefore we hate this person, which is super easy to recognize. While the left-wing, usually what they do is that they hate people that thinks differently. So they don't hate people that looks differently, they hate people that thinks differently. So it's more difficult to spot because it's more subtle, right? So I don't like the word racism at all, but I would call that bigotry. Maybe not bigotry, I don't know. But hate towards people because of some reason. Because some type of categorization. And they categorize people who think differently. Well, usually, I mean, right wings, it's not all about looking differently, it's about coming from a different culture. That's more like it, right? That's more the typical right-wing thing. Maybe more that than looking differently. Coming from a different culture. Usually different cultures makes you look differently. So it's easier to spot in that sense, right? Colgate on Tab says is my... And I would say like making other races act just like them. I mean... That doesn't make sense to me. Colgate on Tab says, is my mom saying kill all Chinese bigotry? Probably yes. That sounds... If she's not just joking around, and even if she's joking around, that is kind of a bigot joking around, I suppose. Blasphemous says, yes, the right is more blatant with their racism. I mean, are there really different races of humanity? As far as I understand, there isn't, right? There are different races of dogs. And they look way different than... I mean... The different types of humans, aren't we all... what's it called? Homo sapien? Isn't that our race? Aren't all of us part of that race? Right? I think the word ethnicism makes way more sense because it's usually about someone from a different culture, right? And that because then it works for what the left wing are doing as well, because you have a different culture of thinking differently. Like you can have a right wing culture, or ethnicity is not culture though. Ethnicity is usually based on geographic locations, maybe. So maybe that doesn't work either. Maybe just call it bigotry. Blasphemous. I've known quite a few online that act out that stereotype. What stereotype are we talking about? Kill all the Chinese? Oof. I don't know. Colgate Tab says, not all left-wingers are like that. Of course not. Not all right-wingers are like that either. I mean, usually those super hateful people, it's usually a vocal minority, right? Both on the left and the right. I'm pretty sure. Colgate Tab says, I don't hate people, not even the bourgeoisies. Oh man, that comes as a surprise. No Donor says, that's a bad example. Dogs are bred for their unique traits. I mean, but we have like monkeys. There are many different races of monkeys that are not bred for their unique traits. Right? And one could argue But I think the lines are fucking vague between species, race, and just variations. I mean, there are variations, right? We have different skin colors, we have different facial structures, like small differences like that. But is that enough to say that we're different races? Actually, we have this great thing here where we can check. Biology. Race is an informal rank in the taxonomic hierarchy, below the level of subspecies. Oh, below the level of subspecies. It is used higher ranked than strain, with several strains making up. Various definitions exist. Races can be genetically distinct populations of individuals within the same species. Oh, right. Then it does check out, right? Because we are, like, humans are genetically distinct depending on where you're from, right? That's the whole thing, right? They can map your genome and they can pull from different regions and say where were your ancestors from, right? And you can trace it back all the way back to Africa, of course. But there are distinct genes, right? Or they can be defined in other way, geographically or physiologically. All right, so I was mistaken then. Racism works just fine. It works just fine. No donor says humans are not, as far as I know. Bred for unique traits? I mean, we are kind of bred for unique traits. But from this, like from a biological standpoint, you could. I mean, it seems like it's a vague fucking word. But from this, we could talk about racism, right? Seems that way. Blasphemous says that I asked a guy why he was not for minorities getting abortions when all he did was complain about them after they were born. Nice. Blasphemous says human disgrace. Nice. The human disc race. Disc race. Love that. Colgate Inotab says, I have only one person on my nemesis list. And there is a chance that even he gets removed. Yeah, that sounds exhausting. Having an arch enemy, nemesis, sounds exhausting. No donor says, that's interesting. When you play a game like World of Warcraft, each race is a drastically different creature. Yeah, exactly. That's where I came from, right? That's why I brought it up. But it seems like that is not the case. It seems like it's vague that it works. It's actually a different species. If we take the biological approach, right? You see, we're going this. Usually, I like to go with what the science says for my language, because I feel that those are the most clearly defined semantics, right? So that's my pragmatic view on the world. There's probably different definitions, right? Where, yeah, here we even have one human categorization: physical traits and or social relations. All right, we do that as well. But I usually like to go with these because of, yeah, just the way I am. But so what they should be called in those games should be different species rather than different races. From that point of view then, I suppose. Blasphemous says games are trying to confuse people. Depends on the game, but not in that sense, no. That would be what we call a straw man. They are not trying to confuse people. Except for when they do, of course. Colgate on tap says, I haven't seen him in 8 years, and I'm fast to cool down, so my anger is soothing away. Holy shit. Oh man, I was about to go to lunch, but I feel like we gotta hear this story, Colgate on tap. 8 years? And you still hold a grudge? I don't hold a grudge for anyone that long. And I'm pretty good at holding grudges. Not to put him on a nemesis list. I think my longest grudge is probably a year. Oh man. I mean, it wasn't real, but I played around with the thought, just going around because it was a business and just putting up because it was a year ago, right? No, it was less than a year ago. A little bit less than a year ago. Just setting up notes saying, I coughed on these doors. Just setting up notes on that business. I mean, I wasn't seriously considering it. I was just playing around with, you know, revenge in your mind kind of deal. Nodrunner was thinking about buying this keyboard, but it's quite expensive. The ultimate hacking keyboard. What is this? Wait. Fully programmable, impeccable build, open source. Nice. Split mechanical keyboard. Designed for extreme productivity and ergonomics. WASD? I'm guessing you can move it around to any... You've got modules here. Oh, we've got super and a mod. Key clusters. Alright, so... I've never seen the appeal of these. Is it just so you can keep your arms... Oh! Also, you can keep your arms like this distance from each other. Or whatever, instead of having to set them like this and... Is that the simple point? It seems more annoying to me. Having it spread out like that. I don't know. Colgate on tap says, I'd rather not share it now, maybe when he's off the list. Alright, that's fine. Better just forget about him. What's his name? Just some random dude. DCSS calls them species. Nice. Nodrunner says, yeah, you want to keep your arms shoulder widths apart. For ergonomics, I'm guessing. Yeah, increased ergonomics. It says there, right here, increased ergonomics. All right. So on a table, and yeah, I can see that. But usually, most of my work on a keyboard is just done with the one hand, playing games, and the other hand is on the mouse. So this I don't need this personally. Right, even when I'm practicing coding and stuff like that, I'm super slow, right? I never type anything fast. No. Oh man. Oh, I love this one. Never become a slave to the sunshine of your ideas. That is actually one that I would consider hanging up, right? Not for well, maybe inspiration. I don't know what it is. Just reality check or something like that. I don't know. Never become a slave to the sunshine of your ideas. I love this quote. All right. What's this? Open source project. That we can check maybe. Man, this was interesting. Yeah. Oh, you probably missed that discussion, Nodrunner. This could be, if we find this in psychology, I found out this could be a psychological argument for the anarchism that we discussed the other day. Right? If we have will to power in that social political power we talked about, then that would be an argument for decentralization of power, because people would feel better. We would increase the life, the needs. We would fulfill more needs of people. It's inconclusive though if it's real or not. Just like this is... I mean, you could shoehorn it in here and that would work, but it's still a little wishy-washy, I suppose. Right. I'm interested in that. What do we have here? Nodrunner says, right, ergonomics. The Android open source project, he says, website is not a valuable resource unless you're building your own phone ROMs from scratch. I'm not doing that, so thanks. Let's remove that. Alright, we got halfway through. I think we can finish the Facebook and stuff before lunch, I'm guessing. Otherwise, go to XDA. Nice. Thanks, Nodrunner. We've got XDA going right here. Very nice. Blasphemous says, just keep people in fear forever so they think they need you and you'll never have to give up your power. Fear is a good generator of power. I'm not sure. I mean, to quote, like we've quoted that dude before. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Can you still keep your power if that is the case? And is that the case even? I don't know. If you can keep it on a like a proper organized level, I suppose. But then again, that's... I don't see that happening, not even in American society. I don't think there is a lot of manufactured fear for the sake of manufacturing fear and maintaining the status quo. I don't think there's a big conspiracy like that has that as its goal. I think it's the problem that faces journalism right now. Journalism has a big fucking issue, and it's not profitable. It is not profitable like proper journalism. Right? If proper journalism, like looking into stuff actually and reporting on important news that could be important, that it's super fucking difficult to make that profitable. Clickbait is what makes money nowadays, because people don't want to pay for the news anymore. So you can't generate money. So journalism it's one of the big problems I see. Like, if I would point out important political issues that our society faces right now, that is one of them. Right? Not having proper journalism. It's not about the journalism, it's about people not caring about proper journalism anymore. Right? We get too wrapped up in social media and reading Stallman quotes and playing Factorio, which I did do today, Nodrunner. He asks what game I did play today. Factorio still, it's gonna be a couple more days. Then I'm gonna have a crash. Man, I'm full into that Factorio crack right now. I felt like last night I wanted to get on and play some more Factorio just to play some more Factorio. So after that, I'm gonna have the shakes, I think. It's gonna be a rough couple of days when I'm finished with Factorio. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Plasma says, when you have the country divided, it is rather easy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure. But again, I don't believe, like, some people may have those intentions, but I think it's just clickbait. Fear sells. We are wired in that way, right? That is why fear is so easy. Because if you scare us, we will click. We need to know, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a problem with consumerism rather than any conspiracy. But I do agree with you, Blasphemous. It is problematic. Blasphemous says, we do it all the time in America. It went ramped up after 9/11. Yeah, remember, they were selling like parachutes for all high buildings and stuff like that. And I mean, I see that as a consumerist thing rather than a top-down conspiracy thing. I think that's just how the system is built. That it's built around those things. That that the system, how it works, generates fear-mongering rather than someone up above says, "Oh, let's make the fear-mongering. Let's divide the people." I'm not sure though. Colgatino says, fortunately we have government-run media in Finland. I would say we have that in Sweden as well. Oh, thank you for banning that spammer, by the way, Colgatino Tap. We have that in Sweden as well. Unfortunately, so far it's working out quite well, but I can see, I mean, there are potential issues with that as well, right? Because it's politically there are political incentives going on within government-run media as well. We have that in Sweden as well, and sometimes they've gotten a lot of flack because it's been quite clearly like bordering propaganda in a way that people don't like. Olgetinotab says, but for some reason even our state-run media does some clickbaiting. Exactly, right? Oh man, Node Runner, do you want to get banned? Alright. So how can I... Man, is it... Can I click it? Man, I really want to click it. I want to click it. I can do this and click it. Alright. Nice. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers at... Here. Oh man, this is beautiful. Ooh. Is this new? I don't remember this. Oh man, this is beautiful, Node Runner. Did you do this? Oh man, I have a friend that paints art in this style. Oh man, those are art pieces I could show off, I suppose, when reading. Oh, and it just keeps going, man. It just keeps going. Oh man. Oh man, I got stuck in this. I need to scroll all the way down. I'm gonna quick scrolling even. Whoops. Naked ladies. Hope we won't get banned. Blocktronics.org. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. Lasma says, when bad countries have government-run media, it gets called propaganda. I mean, it has been some propaganda issues on there, but if you only have government-run media, and it doesn't necessarily have to be propaganda. Propaganda is its own thing, right? And when you have government-run media, it oftentimes becomes propaganda. Colgatino says, I tried, but I could not time out the mod. Oh man. I'm new, but this is new too. Very nice. I didn't do this. This was a collaboration between many an artist. Yeah, all of these. 23 artists from 06 countries. I thought I saw some Misfits stuff in there. Misfit looking stuff. Colgatino Tab says, although Node Runner didn't send any messages during that 1 second, maybe it secretly worked? Maybe. Node Runner, I think I saw a pixel nip. I saw 2 pixel nip. Call in the ban strike? Oh no! Twitch probably just blocks videos in your VOD. Oh, nice. I thought they threw all the VODs away. Very beautiful indeed. Alright, before lunch. Alright. I've never had a Facebook account or a Google Plus account. Some imposter created a Facebook account using my name. The page is not mine. The Google Plus account is using my name. It's also not mine. I reject Facebook because it requires each person used Facebook to have just one account, which means that all the person's activities are grouped together. It also insists on knowing the person's usual name, and it's starting to demand series of different photos. I'm proud to identify myself when stating my views. I can afford to do so, but because I am in a fairly safe position. Me too. I'm grateful that I am allowed to do that. Everybody who has internet can do that today, right? They can do it, but they might not be able to identify themselves. I would prefer not to identify myself. There are people who rationally fear reprisals, from employers, gangsters. Oh wow, not left-wing extremists, eh? Only right-wing extremists. We're only afraid of them. Not left-wing extremists. No. Or the state. If they sign their names to their views for their sake, let's reject any social networking site which insists on connecting an account to a person's real identity. I can get behind that. Of course, Facebook is bad for many other reasons as well. I mean, I too don't like Facebook for many reasons. Alright. Google Plus formally required knowing... Alright, that's a long time ago. Alright. We still have further to go tomorrow, but this was quite fun. I mean, I thought it would be more meme-worthy. It just... I mean, he's just explaining what he does and the way he thinks about it, and I mean, he is kind of extreme, but that's just like when talking ethics, we take extreme stances to evaluate him, right? That doesn't mean we have to become extremists. It's just showing how one can do it. I think it's, maybe funny. Let's see. Colgatino Tab says, oh no, now that you mention it, they block audio too. Yep. Blocktronics.org. Maybe look at it off stream. There's more pixel nips and pixel dicks. Maybe off stream then. Node Runner says it's funny because RMS essentially was cancelled by the left-wing extremists. However, that's an intentionally hyperbolic statement. Yeah, right? cancelled. Why did he leave the Free Software Foundation, by the way? Colgate InnoTap says left-wing extremists are cool. I am biased, but acknowledging my biases is basically the same as not being biased at all. Nice. I mean, aesthetically, I would have to agree with you, right? I really enjoy the Philosophy Tube and ContraPoints. I really, especially when ContraPoints goes bananas, like just the visuals. Just been lazy lately, but like if you go back a year with all the get-ups, oh man, what was that one? The one about opulence. Rasmus says, do you like Academy of Ideas? Actually, that is something I've neglected to watch. I need to put that up again. I don't even remember. Academy. I don't know why I haven't watched this lately. I think I like it, but I haven't watched it for a long time. I think I find it a little bit bland. But that's... I'll put it in my YTCC. I mean, I like Nietzsche. 2.9 million views? Very nice. Is mass psychosis the greatest threat to humanity? That sounds fucking interesting. Why caring what others think breeds mental illness. Wait. That sounds crazy though. Why are so many men psychologically infantile? Ooh. Fuck you. That I don't like. That is fucked up. That is again, so many. I mean, that's relative, right? You only need 1,000 men to be psychologically infantile to make this statement. This statement triggers me, so I have to watch this video. It triggers me. Infantile. Oh man. Civil disobedience. How civil disobedience safeguards freedom and prevents tyranny? I suppose. The psychology of joy. 3 antidotes to suffering. That sounds fun. How to thrive in the battle of life? I don't know. Nordrunner says, I think he had a really bad take on pedophilia. Something about children can consent. Ooh, that is... I can see people getting pissed off by that, yeah. Oh, that was the argument about rape, right? Children can consent. I mean, what is the age of consent? It becomes a blurry line. Oh. Yeah. I don't... I mean, I can see the argument, right? About children can consent. Also... Oh, we talked about that earlier, right? Oh, that was... I think not... I don't think Banana Waffle Monkey is still here, but... he was talking about... We're talking about power, and the older you get, you want to have power over the younger generation because they don't fucking know better. And that's the thing, right? Sure, kids probably can consent, but they don't know. They don't know better. Like, there's a reason we demand a lot of... that the parents need to consent to a lot of things. Regarding children. Right? Because society seems children to be incapable. I mean, they can consent to stuff. Of course they can, but... they're fucking kids. They don't know. You can manipulate kids so fucking easy. You can manipulate kids to consenting to whatever, and maybe they will be traumatized as adults, which has happened a lot. So I mean, I can see the argument being interesting, but like that's yeah, like the semantic argument, the definition of what a rape is. I can see that being an interesting discussion, but I would not take it into the political sphere, and they didn't, right? It was just emails between two people. Blasphemous says the good point statement was not about that subject, but the Academy of Ideas video, just to be clear. Oh, right. Oh! Is this he makes a good point? But I mean, yeah, rape discussion as well. Like I've heard extreme feminism saying that if you say please too many times to a woman, please, can we have sex, please, pretty please? If you do that, that is considered rape, and I can't get behind that. I can't get behind it. But this here, I mean, yeah, I've got to see the video, but or wait, are you talking about this? Either one of these seems silly. But they are a little bit clickbaity, right? They are triggering, probably on purpose, right? Triggering people like me to watch it? Maybe, I don't know. Node says it's not good optics for a PR, for a spokesman of free software. Yeah, right. I can see that. And that could be a reason to step down from this Free Software Foundation. Yeah, good optics. Yeah, that's valuable politically. Colgatino Tab says, I was somewhat joking earlier. Yeah, I mean, somewhat. But, I mean, some of the aesthetics are kind of cool from the extreme leftists. Like I find the hippie aesthetic kind of pretty to look at. But the extremist left is extremely splintered. Nice. And we don't get well along with each other. Maybe. I try to get along with as many people as possible. This I'm looking forward to watching today. Probably today, if I remember. I'm gonna go eat, and then I'm gonna have a nap. And then we'll see. But alright. We'll continue some more Factorio tomorrow and finish reading how Stallman does his computing. It was actually, it is kind of fun so far. Kind of fun. And if we finish that tomorrow, probably not. So the day after tomorrow, we'll read this. Oh man. This is gonna be even more interesting, and it's long, right? We might skip around a little bit if I get bored. Maybe not read the full thing. We'll do some stuff with it. Notrunner says that Stallman is just kind of a weird guy in a lot of ways. Yeah, right? Like, he's both highly intelligent, but completely unaware of the obvious. Probably autistic, right? Probably autistic. Blasphemous says, skip the part on leftism. He rants for too long. Alright, we can skip the leftism. Maybe. Colgatino Tap says, high intelligence is not sufficient for awareness. I mean, a lot of... that kind of explains me as well, right? I can be oblivious to a lot of social cues and stuff like that. But I've got a high IQ, so I got that going for me, I suppose. Well, I don't have high IQ. That's not how it works. You score high on an IQ test. I think I would make that distinction. And I score low on an EQ test. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. But yeah, thanks for hanging out today. It was fun as usual. Yeah. So see you next time. Cheers.